Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 1 hour. India's new criminal laws replacing colonial-era criminal codes comes into force. First FIR registered in New Delhi against a street vendor. French President Emmanuel Macron faces early hiccups in the parliamentary election. Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally Party wins first round of voting in the polls. The US Supreme Court will rule on Donald Trump's presidential immunity claim later today. Trump charged with attempting to subvert the 2020 election results. And in tennis's mega event Wimbledon kickstarts in England. Sumit Nagal becomes the first Indian in 5 years to play in singles main draw. India's justice system is getting a major makeover with 3 new laws replacing British colonial-era legislations. It aims for a faster trial, mandatory forensics and a more victim-friendly system.
Of its colonial past. Sluggish case processing and limited victim rights plague the system. However, a recent revolution is rewriting the narrative. In 2024, India ushered in a new era with the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshat Adhiniyam. These new laws replace the archaic British-era codes, aiming to streamline processes, empower victims and deliver swifter justice. Gone are the days of victims spending hours filing complaints. The cornerstone of this reform lies in speed and transparency. Today, a few clicks on a phone app can initiate the process. This online FIR or First Information Report system not only saves time but also empowers victims, especially those in remote areas or facing mobility limitations. But the reforms extend far beyond convenience. The new laws prioritize victims' rights, placing them at the center of the legal process. Witness protection programs ensure safety, and courts must consider victim input before dismissing a case. This shift in focus acknowledges the emotional and psychological toll crimes inflict. Furthermore, the system is becoming more inclusive. Elderly individuals, women and people with disabilities no longer face the additional burden of navigating crowded police stations. Investigations can now be conducted in the comfort of their homes, a small yet significant step towards accessibility. Technology can also play a crucial role in the new system. Mandatory forensics for serious crimes ensures stronger evidence collection, potentially leading to higher conviction rates. Additionally, virtual court appearances allow for swifter proceedings and eliminates the stress of travel for victims and witnesses. However, like any other major reform, challenges persist. Ensuring proper implementation across the vast and diverse Indian landscape is paramount. Concerns a significant leap forward. India's criminal justice system is no longer an archaic relic. This is a revolution with the potential to transform the lives of millions, offering them the hope of a justice system.
Police in India's capital New Delhi began registering complaints under the new laws. India's Home Minister Amit Shah has clarified older reports about the first FIR after implementation of the new criminal laws today. The minister has clarified that the first case under the new criminal laws was registered in Gwalior in the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh and not in Delhi. As the new criminal laws came into force, the Delhi police have said special booklets have been prepared to ease the implementation process of the 3 new criminal laws. On Monday, India's Home Minister Amit Shah held a press conference on India's new criminal justice system, which today saw 3 fresh criminal codes replace the full set of British-era laws, including the IPC. In his press conference, Home Minister Amit Shah elaborated on these new laws.
Indian Penal Code, जिसको IPC कहते थे, 1860 से जो कानून था, इसकी जगह BNS भारतीय न्याय संहिता आएगी। क्रिमिनल प्रोसीजर कोड, जिसको CRPC कहते थे, जो 1898 से अमल में था, इसकी जगह भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता BNSS आएंगे और इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट 1872 से जो इस देश के क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम को गवर्न करता था, इसकी जगह भारतीय साक्ष्य अधिनियम BSA लागू होगा।
Home Minister Amit Shah praised the reforms for replacing colonial era laws with 3 Swadeshi laws.
आज़ादी के 77 साल बाद आपराधिक न्याय प्रणाली, हमारी क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम पूर्णतया स्वदेशी हो रही है और भारतीय इथोस के आधार पर ये चलेगी। दंड की जगह न्याय लेगा, देरी की जगह स्पीडी ट्रायल और स्पीडी जस्टिस मिलेगा और पहले सिर्फ पुलिस के अधिकारों की रक्षा की गई थी, अब पीड़ितों के अधिकारों की रक्षा और जो कंप्लेनेंट है इसके भी अधिकारों की रक्षा करने का काम होगा।
Our correspondent Vikas Sarthi joins us from New Delhi. Vikas, India's justice system is getting a major makeover. Now, help us understand, how do the new laws prioritize justice and fairness over, say, simply punishment?
Right, Priti. So most of the provision which have been included in these 3 new laws are related to the protecting interest of victims of complainant. In fact, as just Home Minister mentioned, that the focus is now providing justice to the victim and not just punishing the culprit. If you go through the provisions of the new law, now the victim can file complaint not only in the concerned police station, but it can be registered anywhere in any police station, which is called zero FIR. In fact, if a person is not able to reach to the police station, the complaint can be sent through an email, which can be treated as an EFIR. So this is a major game changer. Apart from it, other provisions have been made, like if a complainant is a woman, an elderly of more than 60 years, a minor, so they can ask police official to visit their houses or a place identified them to register their complaint. And they are not. It is not necessary that they must go to the police station to register their complaint. So it will be the responsibility of the police official to contact these complainant and register their complaint. Apart from it, new law also provides that there should be a timely trial. There should be a timeline for the trial court as well, which must be followed. Now, once the trial court concludes the hearing and receives the argument of both sides, the state and the defendant, then judgment must be given within 45 days. There should not be delay more than 45 days. And if in any circumstances it is not possible for the court to deliver judgment in the stipulated time, then it also must be recorded by the court concerned. So it is also going to ensure that the backlog of cases should not carry on forever, and a victim must know what is the status of their case. Another major change, Preeti, here is that the investigating officer will have to inform the complainant what is the status of that complaint after 90 days. So whether the complaint has been entertained by a court or it has been rejected by the court, a victim has a right to know, and a police official will have to inform the complainant or the victim.
All right, Vikas. Now, the new laws aim for faster trials, mandatory forensics, and also more victim-friendly system, as you explained to us. Let us know more about certain new features in these laws. Zero FIR, as you also put forth, online registration of the police complaint. What more features are there in these new laws?
Well, and more features, if we talk about the point of view of victim, the evidence can be given in digital forms. Earlier, complainant will have to provide thousands of pages or hundreds of pages of their complaint and complaint-related documents. Now the documents can be given through digital means. That has also been changed. Apart from it, some major changes have been brought, particularly in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Some new offences and crimes have been made. Like, for the first time, terrorism has been defined in our...
Vikas, are you there with us?
Acts of the passed by the Parliament.
Yes, please continue.
All right, Preeti, as I was saying, that for the first time, the terrorism has been defined by the by the BNS. In our main criminal code now, terrorism has been defined, financial fraud has been defined. What is the, you can say, we have seen the kind of activities by organized crime, that has also been taken care of in the main criminal code. Apart from it, we have seen incident of mob lynching in the recent years, that has also been addressed, and now a provision has been made where more than 5 people kill someone over the issues of caste, religion, language or similar issues, that this will be considered as mob lynching, and in that particular section it has been provided that such people can be given life imprisonment to death sentence as well. Apart from it, Preeti, it has also been brought to the government by the law experts that there are some loopholes in registering, in recording the statements of the victims and the complainant or the witnesses as well. So now it has been provided that statements can also be recorded through video conferencing, though there is a specific protocol to which will be followed by the courts to safeguard the interest of complainant as well as the defendant. So now the witnesses can record their statement through video conferencing. They will not have to travel hundreds of kilometers. That was the major issue for the witnesses. Because of that, earlier people used to avoid court proceedings, and in fact in several cases we have seen that witnesses did not join the investigation. Now this has been addressed by allowing them to join the court proceedings through video conferencing. Preeti?
All right, Vikas. Also, just going back a little, why did the Indian government feel the need to in fact replace the decades-old criminal laws?
Right, Preeti. First of all, some of the provision of these old codes have become obsolete. And apart from it, we have also seen there were some references which have colonial shadow, like Home Minister in his address to the Parliament in previous sessions clearly mentioned those issues, like in CRPC and IPC there were references to Privy Council, Crown, Prince, Commonwealth rules, Commonwealth laws. Those were the references which were directly influenced by the colonial past. Other than that, we have seen that the kinds of crimes or kinds of offences which came into existence in the past few decades, like earlier when the IPC came into force, terrorism was not an issue, organized crime was not much issue, financial frauds was very limited. But in the recent past, we have seen that these cases have increased substantially. So these issues have been addressed in our main criminal code. Those special legislation like PMLA for financial frauds, UAPA for terrorism, and other special laws still exist. But for the first time in our main criminal code, these offences and these crimes have been defined. That is the major change, Preeti.
All right, Vikas, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for joining in with those details and putting more things into perspective for us. All right, the next report busts certain myths associated with the new criminal laws. Take a look.
The newly enacted laws Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita and Bharatiya Sakshya Act, which will completely overhaul the criminal justice system in the country, will come into effect from July 1st this year. The 3 laws got the Parliament's approval on December 21st last year, and President Draupadi Murmu gave her assent on December 25th. The laws will replace the colonial era Indian Penal Code, the Code of Criminal Procedure and the Indian Evidence Act of 1872, respectively. The 3 legislations aim at completely overhauling the criminal justice system in the country by giving definitions of various offences and their punishments. However, the provision related to the cases of hit and run by vehicle drivers will not be implemented immediately. There are several myths related to these 3 laws. Myth says sedition is gone but appears as Deshdroh in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. However, the truth is that the colonial legacy related to the sedition section in the IPC has been removed in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023 brings clarity by explicitly defining Deshdroh as actions endangering the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, Section 152 goes beyond criminalizing expressions causing hatred towards the government. It punishes acts such as armed rebellion, subversive activities and separatist activities.
Alright, so that was about the new laws that come into implementation from today. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break. But after the break, India joins UN-led talks on Afghanistan and Qatar. It's the third meeting of its kind. We'll get you the details ahead. Stay with us for the latest on the Russia-Ukraine crisis as the conflict enters its 857th day. And US-based Space Exploration and Research Agency names India as partner country for Blue Origin space flight.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, DC.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get to international updates now. In France, Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally Party has won the first round of voting in the parliamentary election. The country's interior ministry said that the RN party and its allies secured 33% of the national popular vote. The left-wing coalition, New Popular Front, won about 28%, while President Emmanuel Macron's centrist bloc stands in at third position with just 20.5% votes. Elections for the 577 seats in the lower house National Assembly are a two-round process. In constituencies where no candidate wins more than 50% of the votes in the first round, the top two candidates, as well as any candidate with more than 12.5% of the total number of registered voters in that constituency, moves to a second round. However, in fact, whoever gets the most votes in the second round wins the seat. The shape of the new parliament will become clear after the second round of voting on 7th of July. To help us understand the electoral process in France better, DD India correspondent Ross Cullen is joining us live from Paris. Ross, good afternoon. Now, we know that the final outcome hinges on the next week's runoff, but how crucial is Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party winning the first round of voting?
Very close to the doors of power here in France now, projected to get in and around a majority of 289 seats. It is a real humiliation for Emmanuel Macron, the strength of the election. It's a gamble that has not paid off. Emmanuel Macron's decision to call for a snap election. Marine Le Pen, unity among her campaigners, her candidates, because she knows that they need one more effort to achieve the installation of a far-right Prime Minister into the Prime Minister's office, the Hôtel de Matignon here in the French capital. So we know that Emmanuel Macron has really gambled with something that has not worked out. 70 or so seats will be remaining of him, just the rump of a party that was in majority in 2017 when it won the legislative election then. But ever since 2022, there has not been an outright majority in Parliament. We've seen how difficult it has already been for Emmanuel Macron to try to pass legislation. He was hoping that there could be a moment of clarity or serenity, he said, for this snap election that would provide him with a renewed majority. Political movement as a force anymore. We have the left-wing coalition, the New Popular Front, pretty much saying we are going up against
runs through 2027. What has led to this change in voter sentiment against him?
Seen as someone who doesn't maybe have that direct connection of warmth to brought in billions of dollars in investment, managed to try to address France's growing aging population by pushing through pension right-wing policies he's pushed through. He has tried to govern from what's been described as the ultra-centrist position. So there are people who've defended his people who feel that though his time is up and he is an out-of-touch president, he has said he's not going anywhere and will.
Those details from Paris. So that was our correspondent Ross Cullen spelling out more details on the French electoral. Dozens of protesters, meanwhile, gathered in the French capital on Sunday evening following initial results. Protesters set off flares in Paris as they marched through the streets. Election is seen as a huge setback for President Macron, who has called a snap election after his ticket was trounced by the National Rally Party in the EU Parliament election earlier this month. To fill all the 650 seats in the House of Commons and the leader of the majority who will become Prime Minister. A lot of politicians have promised change to voters in the coal and manufacturing town of Leigh in England. However, at the same time, traces of scant development are seen all around. For decades, Labour Party representatives have said that they would fight for working people, even as well-paid industrial jobs disappeared in the region. As issues will dominate voters' minds this time in Leigh and also other towns in the UK, and how the political parties will fare. All right, let's turn focus to Russia-Ukraine conflict now. That have destroyed 36 drones that Ukraine launched at 3 regions bordering Ukraine. 18 drones were downed over the Bryansk region in Russia's west. 9 were destroyed south. Governors of Bryansk and Kursk regions said that there were no injuries or extensive damage as the result of the attacks today. Meanwhile, Ukraine claimed to have repelled attacks near Novo-Alexandrivka and Spine in the front remained the site of the fiercest fighting, with 42 assaults repelled out of a total of. All right, D-Day India correspondent joins us live from Kyiv. We have with us Megumi Lim. Megumi, good afternoon. Over the weekend, we've seen Russian forces carried out missile attacks against 2 of Ukraine's largest. This plea to loosen restrictions on the use of long-range American missiles inside Russia. Tell us more about how this policy change could help Ukraine.
That's right. As you mentioned, this weekend has been a weekend of attacks both by direction of Kyiv, the capital, on Sunday, where the Ukrainian authorities did say that they were able to intercept these missiles, but fragments fell on a residential building, causing a fire to break out, and also several resident attack by guided bombs, Russian guided bombs. This is an almost daily occurrence in Kharkiv. A postal depot was targeted on Sunday, where at least 1 person was killed and 8 people injured, including an 8-month-old baby. Now, these guided bombs that have been frequently used by Russian forces have been extremely devastating for the people in Kharkiv. These are essentially bombs with wings, and they have the technology, they're equipped with the technology to basically evade Ukrainian electronic jamming systems. They're also able to be launched from a Russian jet that can fly from as high as 10 to 12 kilometers, and also launched from a distance of up to 40 to 60 kilometers, which means that it can be launched from out of range from Ukrainian air defense systems. This is why President Zelensky has been renewing his pleas to the United States to lift restrictions on the use of US-supplied ATACMS missiles. These are long-range missiles that Ukraine wants to use to target basically Russian air bases deeper inside Russian territory so that they can strike at the very Russian jets that carry these guided bombs and to prevent future attacks on cities like Kharkiv.
All right, Megumi, also Russia's defense ministry has said that its forces had captured 2 villages in eastern Donetsk region. What is the latest from the battlefield right now?
That's right. As you mentioned earlier, 2 villages in the eastern Donetsk region, the village of Spirny and Novo-Alexandrivka. The Russian Defense Ministry claims to have captured over the weekend. Heard from the Ukrainian side, except from the Ukrainian General Staff of the Armed Forces, saying that heavy fighting continues to take place in the areas around the villages. So we don't have any confirmation yet, but we are seeing some movements along and also satellite imagery that Ukrainian troops were able to retake some lost territory in Crimea, which is in the Luhansk regions, but also Russian forces were able to advance near Vovchansk, Lipsy and Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region and also near Avdiivka in the Donetsk region. So we are seeing area along the front lines over different regions in Ukraine, and also that the fighting continues to remain deploying a sort of elastic band strategy. Although some US military aid has already arrived in the front lines, other aid is expected to take weeks or even months to arrive. And so meanwhile, Ukrainian troops are falling back, ceding some ground and falling back to better fortified positions and planning to strike back at Russian positions once more US military aid arrives to the front lines.
All right, Megumi, thank you for joining in with those details from Kyiv. Let's turn focus to other updates. US top court is expected to rule on Monday on a case concerning Donald Trump's claims of presidential immunity. Now, the former US president is facing 4 charges related to attempts to subvert the election of the results of the 2020 election. Jagruti Dave has more.
Among the 4 charges levelled at Donald Trump, conspiracy to defraud the United States. On the last day of its term, the 9 justices of the top court will decide whether or not Donald Trump is immune from prosecution because of his position at the time as President of the United States. The trial has been held up for months as the Supreme Court considered Donald Trump's appeal. It is considered unlikely that the trial will begin before November's general election. And if Donald Trump regains the White House, it's possible that he could shut down the case altogether or even potentially pardon himself. Now, the former president has already been convicted of falsifying business records related to hush money payments. In this case, he has pleaded not guilty, claiming that the charges are politically motivated. Jagruti Dave in Washington, reporting for DD India.
The US-based Space Exploration and Research Agency SERA and Blue Origin on Monday announced a collaboration with India for a human space flight program targeting citizens from countries with limited space access. From Mars to Moon, India has achieved key milestones in the space sector. SERA's space program will see 6 citizen astronauts from across the world launched into space. The selected citizens will undertake the 11-minute journey in New Shepard, Blue Origin's reusable suborbital rocket. Let's take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world now. Macau Water organizes an open day every year to raise the public's awareness about water conservation. Both games and workshops have attracted a lot of parents who brought their children to the plant. Japan's sacred Mount Fuji officially started this year's climbing season about 90 minutes before sunrise, levying new trail fee and also limiting hiker numbers to curb overcrowding. Climbers must pay $12 and their numbers will be limited to 4,000 a day after complaints of litter, pollution and dangerously crowded trails flowed in the last year. It was a hot and electric red carpet as some of the biggest names in music and films graced the red carpet to celebrate the 2024 BET Awards in Los Angeles, California. Some of the attendees and performers included Will Smith, Megan Thee Stallion, Lauryn Hill and Ice Spice. You're watching DD India News Hour. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, Indian Parliament debates motion of thanks on the President's address. Goods and Services Tax Day is being celebrated in India today. Stay with us as we get you a special report on this. And flood situation worsens in India's northeastern state of Assam as river Brahmaputra flows above the danger level.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get to more international updates. We'll get to weather updates first. New satellite images show the eye of Hurricane Beryl, a Category 4 storm that is expected to bring life-threatening winds and flash flooding to the Caribbean's Windward Islands. The U.S. National Hurricane Center said that this is the first hurricane of 2024 season and that was located above 310 miles east-southeast of Barbados on Sunday midday, with maximum sustained winds of 130 miles per hour. The center of the hurricane is expected to travel across the southeastern and central Caribbean Sea late on Monday through Wednesday. Meanwhile, residents in Eastern Caribbean prepared for the arrival of extremely dangerous Category 4 storm Hurricane Beryl as it barreled across the Atlantic Ocean on Sunday afternoon towards the Caribbean's Windward Islands. The National Hurricane Center said it is expected to bring life-threatening winds and flash flooding on Monday. Tropical storm Chris has formed near eastern Mexico and will begin to weaken after landfall. According to U.S. National Hurricane Center, the storm was located about 105 miles southeast of Tuxpan in Mexico with maximum sustained winds at 40 miles per hour. The storm is expected to produce rainfall totals of 4 to 8 inches across portions of eastern Mexico through Monday. Meanwhile, residents of the Mexican coastal city of Cancun flocked to a hardware store to load up on wooden planks as they braced up for the arrival of tropical storm Chris. Greek firefighters were battling 2 wildfires near Athens on Sunday amid strong winds just hours after managing to contain blazes in a mountainous area also near the capital as well as on an island in the Aegean Sea. Dozens of firefighters in full gear, backed by water-carrying aircraft, fought to tame a fire in the community of Stamatas, north of Athens, which burned a lush pine forest, sending columns of smoke over parts of the city. It did not threaten houses so far. Teams also fought another fire in the sparsely populated area near the town of Kerathia, some 35 kilometers south of Athens. Representatives of Afghanistan's Taliban regime began a 2-day meeting on Sunday with UN officials as they attended talks in Doha with special envoys to the Central Asian country for the first time. Now, this is the first time that the Taliban is participating in the gathering to discuss international engagement with Afghanistan since UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres initiated it. The Taliban delegation, led by its spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid, demanded an end to financial sanctions and expressed a desire for greater engagement with the West while dismissing curbs on women's freedom as a policy difference. Earlier, Taliban spokesperson held a meeting with India's representative JP Singh, who is Joint Secretary of the Pakistan-Afghanistan-Iran Division in the Ministry of External Affairs. They discussed about strengthening and the relation between the two countries. Taliban thanked India for giving wheat and other aid to Afghanistan. On day 6 of India's Parliament session on Monday, the lower house or the Lok Sabha resumed proceedings with obituary motion taken up to pay respect to the departed members. Later, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju moved motion to elect members from Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha for various parliamentary committees. Further, the motion of thanks on inaugural address of President Draupadi Murmu to the joint sitting of Parliament was taken up. The Bharatiya Janata Party's member Anurag Singh Thakur moved the motion and spoke in favour of the motion, highlighting the achievements of Modi 1 and Modi 2 government. The Lok Sabha has allocated 16 hours for the debate, which will conclude with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's reply on Tuesday. The upper house or the Rajya Sabha also took up discussion on the motion of thanks on President's address.
The House will meet again.
The Speaker of India's lower house of Parliament, Om Birla, paid tribute to late President of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, and his entourage, all of whom died in a helicopter accident on 19th of May.
ये सभा इस दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण हेलीकॉप्टर दुर्घटना में इस्लामी गणराज्य ईरान के राष्ट्रपति महामहिम डॉक्टर सैयद इब्राहिम रईसी विद्याधिकारियों के निधन पर ईरान की सरकार और वहां की जनता के प्रति गहरी संवेदना व्यक्त करती है.
All right, DD India correspondent Dibendu Mondal joins us live from New Delhi. Dibendu, good afternoon. Now, we've told our viewers that the Parliament is taking up the debate on the motion of thanks on President's address. Get us the latest from the Parliament proceedings first.
Preeti, currently, what's happening inside the lower house of the Parliament is first the debate on the motion of thanks on the President's address is currently being taken up in the Lok Sabha, as well as in the upper house, which is the Rajya Sabha. Currently, the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi from the Congress, is speaking on the floor of the House. The motion was moved by former Union Minister and senior BJP leader Anurag Thakur. He had spoken at length for about 1.5 hours on the floor of the House, highlighting the important aspects of the President's speech, which spoke about the achievements of the Modi 1.2 as well as 2.0 government over the past 10 years. He also spoke about how the Indian economy has risen from 11th 10 years back to the position of number 5 in the last 10 years. He also spoke about how the government is making every effort to ensure that the Indian economy grows to become the third largest economy of the world. There were other various aspects of the achievements of the government, including from farmers to women welfare to as well as welfare of the poor, housing. Everything was laid on the floor of the House by Anurag Singh Thakur. The achievements, the electoral achievements of the BJP was also put to the floor of the House. This motion was seconded by New Delhi MP Basudhi Swaraj, who spoke on similar lines as that of Anurag Singh Thakur. But now, currently, Rahul Gandhi is making his points from the opposition side as the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha on the motion of thanks. Today, earlier in the day, in fact, Preeti, we saw the opposition demanding that a separate discussion on the issue of NEET do happen on the floor of the House. But Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, stood up and said that the government is committed towards discussing the issue of NEET on the floor of the House. But as per rules, first the President's motion of thanks on her inaugural address needs to be completed by the Parliament, after which such a discussion can take place, after which the opposition conceded, and the normal business of the House did start in the lower house. The similar is happening within the upper house of the Parliament, which is the Rajya Sabha, the upper house of Parliament tomorrow, and he will also give his reply to
speak. We're showing live visuals from the Lok Sabha to our viewers. Now, let us also get from the regular Parliament sessions, because this is the first session after the new government has assumed office. Do we see any legislative business being taken up in this session?
No such major policy decision or legislative business do happen. This session, which began last week, was of course to register all the new member of Parliament, the oath-taking ceremony, all the the new Lok Sabha, which is in this case the 18th Lok Sabha, will happen and is in fact happening in this session of Parliament. It is known as the inaugural session of Parliament. This is a special session where, the first 2 days, of course, saw the oath-taking ceremony of all the newly elected members of Parliament. It was followed by the election of the Speaker, then the inaugural address by the President to the new Parliament, in fact, to the new Lok Sabha, after which, as per constitutional and, procedural norms of the Parliament, the motion of thanks is being taken up by both the houses of Parliament, which will perhaps be passed tomorrow and day after. We also know that 16 hours have been given
assigned,
to
yes.
Lok Sabha as well as 21 hours to the Rajya Sabha. So of course, this special session will be specially dedicated to the inaugural formalities of the new Parliament.
All right, Devendra, we leave it here. Thank you for joining in with those details. And General Upendra Dwivedi took over as India's 30th Army Chief in New Delhi on Monday. General Dwivedi received a Guard of Honor in New Delhi. The Indian Army Chief was commissioned into the infantry of Jammu and Kashmir Rifles in 1984. He has the unique distinction of a balanced command as well as tough exposure across the northern, eastern and western theatres in varied operational environments.
This is a moment of immense pride and honor for me to be assigned the responsibility to lead the Indian Army. The glorious traditions of the Indian Army rest on the legacy of valor and sacrifice of our soldiers. On this occasion, I pay my solemn tributes to the brave hearts who made supreme sacrifice in the line of duty. The geopolitical landscape is changing rapidly and technology is evolving at a very fast pace. The Indian Army faces a unique operational challenges, and to remain prepared for such threats and distinctive requirements, it is crucial that we continuously equip our soldiers with the state-of-the-art weapons and technology and also continue to evolve our war-fighting strategies. The Indian Army is on the path to transformation and we aspire to be Atmanirbhar.
Earlier, the Army Chief laid a wreath at the National War Memorial in New Delhi on Monday and paid homage to the fallen heroes. General Dwivedi takes over as the Army Chief at a time when the global geostrategic environment remains dynamic, with the challenges in security domain becoming more pronounced because of technological advancements and ever-changing character of modern warfare. Monday is the 9th anniversary of Digital India, which is proving to be a milestone in India's progress. Over the last few years, through Digital India, the country has set an example of how right use of technology can prove to be revolutionary for convenience of the people. Take a look.
Under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is continuously moving towards a developed India. The Digital India campaign has strengthened the resolve in this direction. The Digital India project was launched on 1st July 2015 with the aim of improving the country's digital infrastructure system. In the last 9 years, through Digital India, India has set an example of how the right use of technology can prove to be revolutionary for the development of humanity. Today, instead of cash money in our pockets, we have started keeping money in our mobile wallets, and even the poorest of the poor people are moving ahead digitally. The Digital India program aims to transform India into a digitally empowered society by focusing on digital literacy, digital resources, and digital platforms. For the past few years, Digital India has been playing an important role in the progress of the country. Let us show you some statistics on how Digital India is proving to be a milestone in the progress of the country. UPI transactions are continuously increasing in the country. In the year 2023, the total number of UPI transactions was more than 100 billion. By December 2023, UPI achieved the target of 8,572 crore transactions. The contribution of digital economy to India's GDP is steadily growing. India's digital economy accounts for 10% of its total economy and is expected to reach around 20% by 2020 to 2026. The digital economy is expected to contribute 62% to India's technology sector by 2030, up from 48% in 2022. India's digital transformation over the last 10 years has been unprecedented. It all started with the launch of the Digital India initiative in 2015. By 2023, India has over 850 million internet users, enjoying the cheapest data cost in the world. India has leveraged technology to transform governance, making it more efficient, inclusive, faster, and transparent. India's unique digital identity platform is covering over 1.3 billion people. India has used the power of the JAM Trinity, Jan Dhan bank accounts, Aadhaar, and mobile to revolutionize financial inclusion. The Gati Shakti platform, or the online public procurement platform, government e-marketplace, have brought transparency and integrity in the process. It also promotes e-governance. Digital India campaign has played a vital role in transforming India into a digitally empowered society and a fast-growing economy. News Bureau, DD India.
All right, let's turn focus to other stories making it to the headlines from across India. Chief Minister personally distributed pension to the beneficiaries, first step towards rising the living standards of the people. Chandrababu Naidu launched the distribution of the NTR Bharosa pension scheme by personally distributing the pension to beneficiaries at Penumaka village of Mangalagiri Assembly segment. You're watching the India News Hour. Time now for a short break. But after the break, registering an impressive performance, Indian stock indices shine among the top 10 stock markets in the June quarter of financial year 2024-25.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India News Hour. Heavy and widespread rains lashed the state of Assam and other parts of northeast India. The IMD has issued orange alert for Assam. Dibrugarh town has been grappling with urban floods, with most streets waterlogged after heavy rains. Dibrugarh, located on the banks of Brahmaputra River, has faced persistent flash flooding and waterlogging issues. 31 people have lost their lives in the state in this year's floods, landslides and storms. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to him over flood situation and assured full cooperation from the government. In business updates, Goods and Services Tax Day, or the GST Day, is being celebrated across India on Monday. The GST was launched on the intervening night of 30th June and 1st of July in 2017. It is a comprehensive indirect tax and it has transformed the country's tax system by eliminating multiple complex taxes levied by national and regional governments. Goods and Services Tax simplified the tax structure by improving transparency and efficiency. Indian stock indices have given a stellar performance in the June quarter of financial year 2024-25. During the April-June period, Indian stock market capitalization increased by 13.8%. Now, this is the highest among the top 10 stock markets. Currently, the Indian equity market is the 5th largest stock market in the world, with market capitalization of $5 trillion. Between April and June, the market valuation of US markets increased by 2.75% to $56 trillion. After India, the markets of Taiwan and Hong Kong surged by 11% and 7.3% between April and June, respectively. The market valuation of Taiwan and Hong Kong has increased to $2.49 trillion and $5.15 trillion, respectively. All right, let's talk of sports now. India's lower house of parliament, that is Lok Sabha, on Monday congratulated the Indian cricket team for winning the T20 World Cup. India lifted the T20 World Cup after a 17-year gap, beating South Africa by 7 runs in the final on June 29th. Speaker Om Birla congratulated skipper Rohit Sharma and also the team, highlighting the significance of their triumph. He said the country's youngsters and sportspersons would derive inspiration from the victory.
बारबाडोस वेस्ट इंडीज में T20 क्रिकेट विश्व कप जीतने में सफलता प्राप्त की है।
The Olympics 2024 is just around the corner and players, coaches and the government are all set to witness the mega event take place. India is sending a strong contingent at the event, and in the run-up to the Olympics, an official send-off ceremony took place on Sunday. Deepika Mehta has more on this.
With just less than a month to the mega sporting event, Paris Olympics 2024, Union Sports Minister hosted the Olympic-bound athletes at a send-off ceremony on Sunday in New Delhi. The minister also unveiled the kit for the mega event, which will be donned by the athletes throughout the tournament and at the glittering opening ceremony in Paris. Speaking at the occasion, Union Sports Minister said that I wish all the players very best. He said that the players' participation in Olympics will make the entire country proud.
दोस्तों, ये देश के गौरव का प्रतीक होगा। दोस्तों, जब स्पोर्ट्स के लिए खेलने के लिए जाते हैं, देश के लिए भी आपका प्रतिनिधित्व ओलंपिक्स में 140 करोड़ की जनता को गौरव देगा।
Indian Olympic Association's president P.T. Usha also wished the team a very best, saying she has a lot of confidence in the team. The designer Olympic kits were unveiled by Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri. While addressing the event, Union Minister Hardeep Singh said that Olympics is the pinnacle of sports.
We are proud that our sportspersons were participating in the Olympics and hope that our hockey team would win a medal.
The Olympics 2024 is all set to take place in Paris this time from 26 July and will go on till 11th August, and India is going to present a strong contingent at the prestigious event. Deepika Mehta's report for DD India from New Delhi. With just less than
beginning on Monday. Wimbledon is the penultimate Grand Slam tennis tournament of the year, and it will conclude with the men's singles final scheduled for July 14th. All eyes will be on defending men's singles champion Carlos Alcaraz, who picked up his third Grand Slam title after winning the French Open in June. Meanwhile, India's top men's in the men's doubles event, Indian tennis ace Rohan Bopanna will partner Matthew Ebden of Australia. That's it in this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR codes on your screens now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.